Alright guys, I'm here with a quick Q&A for y'all. I'm going to read it off my Facebook page. Bruno asked if I could choose any one exercise for each body part to do for the rest of my life, what would those be? Each body part's a little much. I'll probably stick with deadlifts, squats, and bench press. You can get a really good physique and get really strong doing with 3 of those. Tommy asked about marijuana and its effect on muscle gains. We don't know. It's been illegal to study marijuana because it's a scheduled drug. So it's not looking to get people in a lab and see what happens when people lift and get high at the same time. But what I have seen is people get hurt while being high in the gym. So it's really not worth slipping a disc or tearing a muscle because you're too relaxed and couldn't brace yourself. I think smoking while you lift is pretty stupid anyway. So Gabriel asked about my opinion on a recomp diet. I'm exhibit A, B, and C for failure in terms of dieting and bulking and cutting. I've basically recomped my entire gym career. You won't get very far. You might get really strong, but again, that's relative and that's based on what you want out of life. I would just full bulk and full cut. If I could redo my entire gym career starting when I was 14, I would just get strong and get big. I don't recommend recomping unless you're a true beginner or you're overweight. The most important thing I've learned right now that I wish I knew when I started, overload is king. Lift more weights, then lift heavier weights. Keep going, keep building on that instead of pumping around like an idiot and doing exotic exercises that just don't make sense. Samara asked the best way to do a lean bulk. There is no best way. I'd say eat 200 to 500 calories above your maintenance and then bulk for 6 to 8 months, if not a year or two. You need to spend time growing, not cutting and growing and cutting and growing. Briefly discuss what a deload week is and if it should be done over time when consistently lifting. A deload is basically a scheduled break in your training. There's multiple ways to do it. Some will completely skip the gym. Some will deload their volume, so they'll cut their working sets in half or their working weight in half. It's really personal preference. I find that life tends to deload for you. For example, when you get sick when you go on vacation, you're not lifting, or not lifting as much as you could be. And that's pretty much a deload. Lloyd asked about strength and a predictor of muscle mass. They definitely correlate, but it's not a causation. For example, I'm really strong relative to my body weight, but I'm not the most muscular person out there. Strength is first and foremost a skill. It's a skill you practice. It's something you work to get better at through technique. You can see some very weak people with a lot of muscle mass, and it's not because they're on drugs, it's because they train to have bigger muscles, not to be stronger. Thoughts and recomp, I already answered that. Olympian will get his own Q&A video. Matthew asks, how quickly do I plan to gain weight during my bulk? I'm just going to eat and lift and see what happens. I hope to gain like half a pound to a pound a week for the foreseeable future. I don't plan on cutting again for a very long time. Dylan asks about the top 5 things I've learned about fitness. Experience, you just have to try different things and see what works best. Working with clients has been a really big part of that because what works for you won't work for client A or client B or client C, but it might work for client F. So you just have to experiment. You gotta guess and test and then put things into practice. I say the number one thing I've learned though is just to be patient. It's a very long game. It's not something that you'll just be swole overnight. So you just got to keep working and keep grinding. I'm going to butcher your name, dude, but Beva Sud asked about volume or strength for size. I'd say that size work is getting strong at a higher volume. Even if you use low reps, you have to add more sets to get the required volume and to grow. So I'd say it really is a combination of both. Female working out. When it comes to aesthetics, do you recommend any alternate exercises for females? Yes and no. So in theory, it's all the same, but in practice, women just want different things than the guys I work with do. They want a firmer butt, a tighter stomach, generally more leg work. So I would program women maybe 3 legs a week and once or twice an upper body, or even 3 days a week total body with an emphasis on glutes and legs rather than upper body work. Di asked a really good question about retracting and depressing the scapula on presses and restricting natural motion through the shoulder. The thing about the shoulder is that it's a very ligamentous joint. There's no bony support. So in order to keep your shoulder healthy, it's going to need help from the muscles around it versus your knees. There's a bony protrusion there. You have something to brace yourself against. When you protract, it puts all those muscles and ligaments at a very bad position. So you just want to keep it retracted the entire time. Alright, y'all. Thanks for putting up with my first YouTube video. If you like it, let me know. Leave some feedback. I did film this all on my iPhone, and I'm editing it on my iPhone. So if you don't like it, or you think I should get a better camera for this, or a better microphone, let me know. And leave your suggestions in the comments. Thanks, y'all. Have a good weekend.